Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our second annual Halloween show here at Quencher's Saloon at the exact corner of Fullerton and Western Avenue in the glorious city of Chicago. Give yourselves a round of applause. Now, a lot of people here know that last year I read The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe.
Spectacular.
Once Upon a Midnight Dreary. I asked Mr. Poe if he would return, but we couldn't get him out of his coffin, you know, and I figured, you know...
He was too drunk.
I figured that, you know, we just would have a good time tonight and celebrate and dress up and enjoy one another's company. And so I hope you excuse me for not planning anything formally, but I did take the time to write a Halloween poem. So I'm going to read this poem and then bring up some legitimate poems so we can properly start this open mic. So this poem, dedicated to Harry Houdini, is called Freak. Abnormal. The mind is an animal, vivisected ghost-like, stacked on heart-blood roods, where vampires, man-made wolves, a witch's blind eye, stalking you in your skull as you grow old, commit you to cranial incarceration, harvest your dead leaves and kiss your chilled blood. You, proven unworthy, will your will, drunk on the mercury of a Mad Hatter's top hat, and sips of serpent spit, swallowing vomited fire like a freak who other freaks consider a freak. You step on the trap door and fall into the mouth of the author of evil. You travel down the lungs of dipsomaniac Poe. You breathe and bounce off Houdini's bursted appendix. It is the 31st of October, 1926. Raining in Montreal. Henry Ford sharing the same vision as Hitler. And you have a premonition. Something bad about to happen. The great logistidator punctured by the punch of a college student. You are fired out of the asshole like a bullet, a silver bullet lodged in Poe's lung. Every nightmare is a maze, but there is always choice, but never a safe door. This door opens to death. Even if buried alive, you are still living. Why resist? Coffins, too impersonal, should be carved into the shape of the dead. So be it with the door whose knob is a raven, whose wood is the wood of the cross. Let the living kill the living. Let the dead bury the dead. So be it in the rain. You enter hell's Halloween party. Demons touch you only if they need a particular bone. Say one in your spine so you slouch, or one in your leg so you limp. There are many recipes to make a freak, and a freak you are. You need to hurry down to the hill to get to the bell tower, and being ugly, you must fall in love with beauty. Not reality, no, never the thing that is. In cold, sunless autumn of 19, reading LaRose Phantom on green leather sofa, eating crackers next to Ken, cortisol in the next room, at peace in the mental hospital. Radiated heat, cozy, ample time to succumb to numbness, to nudge the God out of your head and sacrifice it to humans. You enter only to find you are at peace with the nightmare. You belong here. In your bone, not marrow, but steel defines this skeletal cage. Rearranged, your brain knows evil is good, good evil. The supreme is the supernatural. Your mental house is hollow, house of webs. Your dream is a dream of premature death. Alone, like a bullet of water, your sanity runs further into illusion. The confusion of a steaming gun. You enter into the melody of madness. You sing with a finger on your lip. You freak, human of all. Your happiness is confidential.
Whoa, yeah.
I hope this
Bob. Yeah, way to go. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our open mic. We do this once a month on the last Tuesday of each calendar month. And so I'm glad that you all could make it, this being Halloween. A great time for us to get together and act out our insanities and other mental illnesses. I'd like to bring up our first poet tonight. He's also my attorney, so if you want to start some shit, feel free. I might also add, where's Mo? Officer Mo, Chicago Police Department. So, you know, I got my attorney, I got my cop.
And your CPA!
And Sergio Mayor, I was gonna, but.
What is he anyway? Absolutely.
And my accountant Tom is here. So, you know, it's all good.
Realtor!
And my realtor, Austin. I like to cover all the bases. Because you never know what's going to happen at an open mic. But ladies and gentlemen, Jim Doyle and I have been sharing the stage for many years. He's a fabulous poet, and I consider him to be a bit of a mentor. He only charges me $200 an hour for his performance, which in, you know, legalese is quite inexpensive. So please give it a warm Quenchers welcome to our first poet of the evening, Mr. Jim Doyle.
All right.
What you got, Jim? What you got?
Hello, everybody. I'm very glad to appear on stage here at Quenchers. Thank you, Bob. And I'm glad we're not making a big deal out of Halloween this year. It's kind of an overrated holiday. Anyway, my friends, I'm going to read some of my poetry, but I'm going to take a moment to read some of Pablo Neruda to begin with. My favorite poet, other than Shakespeare, I guess. But anyway, and just for the hell of it, let's start out with The Heights of Machu Picchu.
My favorite poem, Jim.
One of his, I guess some people really like it, so I'm going to proceed with it. The Heights of Machu Picchu, Part 4. Irresistible death invited me many times. It was like salt occulted in the waves. And what its invisible fragrance suggested was fragments of wrecks and heights, or vast structures of wind and snowdrift. I had come to the cut of the blade, the narrowest channel in air, the shroud of field and stone, the interstellar void
I'm at an open mic poetry reading, man.
of ultimate
What?
steps,
I'm at an open mic poetry reading, man.
and the awesome spiral. Well, that's annoying.
What? I'm sorry, Jim. What?
I've lost my spot here. I'll say the interstellar void of ultimate steps, and the awesome spiral way, though not through wave on wave do you attain it.
Here.
Vast sea of death,
What?
but rather, what
What?
the fuck, man?
Jim, I'm sorry.
This is Pablo
I'm
Neruda.
sorry, Jim. I'm getting a phone call, Jim. This is really important. I'm sorry. Jim, I'm sorry.
Pablo Neruda.
Jim, I'm so sorry.
Nobel Prize.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt this highly entertaining poetry open mic to bring you breaking news, first brought to us from the blog of Cecil B. Barnabas from his bedroom in his mother's house in Stickney, Illinois, home of Mr. N's Trucking Company, now offering cut-rate tune-ups and oil changes for all commercial truck drivers, where every day is Ladies' Day. We should have Cecil, our blog reporter from Stickney, Illinois, on remote intranet, straight from the International Society of Post-Apocalyptic Bloggers, aka his mother's kitchen. Cecil, are you there?
Stickney 6'9" here, Bobco. Thank you. This is blog reporter and part-time community college activist Cecil B. Barnabas, reporting from the command center of ISPAB, the International Society of Post-Apocalyptic Bloggers. In uncharted Stickney, Illinois, where the air is permeated by the flavors of mom's meatloaf. like tear gas at an anti-NATO rally. Bob?
Cecil.
Ladies and gentlemen, at 3:30 a.m. today, I received 2 error reports on my XXL1 blog, radiograph, and Game Boy Intel system. One message on my encrypto screen reads, sorority sluts seek brainy types with huge... No, delete that, that's my bad. The second transmission, and here I am translating from binary code. Solar flare-ups observed on Mars will cause all humanity to itch. Bob? Co?
Thank you, Cecil. Please, get back to us when you have more information. Ladies and gentlemen, apparently something is afoot out there in Stickney, and apparently it itches too. Please, stay tuned. We now continue with Jim Doyle from the Open Mic. Jim, I'm so sorry. Where are you?
I'm right here.
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get more information back to you when we can, but apparently something's happening.
Yeah, something's happening. I'm reading Pablo Neruda on stage.
My favorite bowl!
Fucking douchebag. Anyway, I don't know where to... I'll tell you what. I'll go back to the part where it says the interstellar void. Remember, this is the heights of Machu Picchu. The interstellar void of ultimate steps and the awesome spiral way. Though not through wave on wave do you attain us, vast sea of death, but rather like a gallop of twilight, the comprehensive mathematics of the dark. You never came to scrabble in our pockets. You could not pay a visit without a scarlet mantle, an early carpet, hush enclosed in silence, a heritage of tears enshrined or buried here. I could not love within each man a tree.
Jim, I'm getting breaking news. Jim, I gotta come up.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
God.
Jim, I'm getting breaking news.
Pablo Neruda.
New York City apparently is already underwater. Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt Jim Doyle to bring you more breaking news. This time from the subatomic particle chambers inside the synchro cyclotron from underneath Staggs Field at the University of Chicago, where Professor Argon Thallium speaks to us on his transmitter, purchased with Nobel Laureate in Physics prize money. Professor, can you elucidate us on the strange and paranormal activity out there in the sticks? I mean, in Stickney, Illinois?
Yeah. Thank you, Bob Cole. I'm here with my very cool and very real subparticle tracking device, affectionately known as SPTD. Not to be confused with any generic venereal diseases that share these call letters. The SPD man is just too cool. Do you know that I can pirate HBO on this thing? Dial up the ladies? It even has enough microwaves to melt cheese onto bread, man. I mean, I can make grilled cheese in a semi-hollow particle chamber. How cool is that?
Professor, that is impressive. Can you tell us what your device is doing now?
Damn, man. This thing's all sticky with melted cheese. But I can make out a luminous pattern. Man, I just love saying that word. Luminous. 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 So sexy. Wait a minute, Bob Cole. This just in. According to my SPTD, that's slang, baby. It has become clear that certain organic matter has become magnetized, and anyone in possession of this matter will have their brainwaves seriously distorted, and not in the way that I would like, baby.
Professor, can you generate a list of these magnetized objects so I can tell my audience?
One moment, Bob Cole. Okay, I got the list. Man, that SPD thing is the bomb. The following items must immediately be quarantined. if you have any steel plates in your cranium, they gotta go. Bic lighters? Oh, that's a bummer. All bras must go. Sorry, ladies. iPhones? Shit, not iPhones. Man, I stood in line for 7 hours for this sexy thing. Oh well. And wedding bands. Those wedding rings, they're magnetized and destructive, and they got to go.
Thank you, Professor. People, please, for the love of humanity, shed those cheap wedding rings, those pesky bras, and toss those worthless iPhones onto one big pile so we may destroy them. Or not. Ladies and gentlemen, we return to the poetry of Mr. Jim Doyle.
Well, yeah, I don't know what to say other than I'm going to continue. I mean, show business, right? Show must go on. The Heights of Machu Picchu. Pablo Neruda. He won the Nobel Prize for poetry, so that's good, right?
You can never get through it.
Yeah, well,
Didn't every civilization he ever represent get destroyed too? Just a food for thought.
I don't know about that one. Chile's doing pretty good right now. But anyway, I guess I'll go back to the beginning. I mean, the Heights of Machu Picchu, Part 4. Poetry's important, and this is poetry night, so let's go. Irresistible Death invited me many times. It was like salt occulted in the waves. And what its invisible fragrance suggested was fragments of wrecks and heights, or vast structures of wind and snowdrift. I had come to the cut of the blade, the narrowest channel in air, the shroud of field and stone, the interstellar void of ultimate stone, and the awesome spiral way. Though not through wave on wave do you attain us, vast sea of death, but rather like a gallop of twilight, the comprehensive mathematics of the dark. You never came to Scrabble in our pockets.
Jim.
You could not...
I'm sorry. This is serious stuff, Jim.
No,
Ladies and gentlemen, we once again interrupt Jim Doyle to bring you more breaking news. This time from the teleportation studios of Cecil B. Barnabas, a.k.a. his father's carport. Cecil, are you there?
This is Stickney 69er. Thank you, Bob Coe. Back again with you. I currently have a large swelling, previously thought to be a rash, still unexplained but attributed to a large deposit of magnetism in the sublunar regions of my personal anatomy. Luckily, I have an iPhone app for therapeutic massage. It's the one right below the one for ordering Starbucks online, lattes at any particular participating store. My initial data suggests that my itching is due to space dust from the planet Mars. More data forthcoming on that. Meanwhile, I'm glad this is radio because I am currently vigorously applying ointment to the infected parts of my body. Back to you, Baco.
Thank you, Cecil. Imagine that! Martian space dust actually itches and leads to swelling? And all this time, we thought that we had to go camping in the Wisconsin woods to feel such pining displeasure. I always said that a trip to Mars was like a walk in the woods in Wisconsin. By the way, Packers suck! Whether or not the Martians suck is to be determined. We now return to our open mic poetry reading with Mr. Jim Doyle.
Yay.
Sorry, Jim.
Hey, space is important, I guess. This sounds like a big trouble, but anyway, the Martians put me off the heights of Machu Picchu, and I'm I'm gonna shift gears and just try to get to the Ode to the Tomato. Another one of Pablo Neruda's great poems, but it's a little shorter, and I should be able to get through it before the next, whatever the hell it is. Ode to the Tomato. The street drowns in tomatoes. Noon, summer, light breaks in two tomato halves. And the streets run with juice. In December, the tomato cuts loose, invades kitchens, takes over lunches, settles at rest on sideboards with the glasses, butter dishes, blue salt cellars. It has its own radiance, a goodly majesty. Too bad we must assassinate. A knife plunges into its living pulp. Red viscera, a fresh, deep, inexhaustible sun floods the salads of Chile, beds cheerfully with the blonde onion, and to celebrate oil, the filial essence of the olive tree lets itself fall over its gaping hemispheres. The pimento adds its fragrance, salt its magnetism. We have the day's wedding.
Jim. Jim.
Parsley.
Receiving transmission now. Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt Jim Doyle to bring you more breaking news from the University of Chicago, where Professor Argon Thallium has an update on the frequency of the now widespread panic and itching. Professor, are you there?
I'm here, Bob Cole. Thank you. Infections of large deposits of Martian space dust have led people to riot outside of all local Walgreens and CVS locations. Man, I am so relieved that I filled that prescription for Seconal phenobarbital yesterday. Man, can you imagine the lines today? As I speak, I feel rather slow and lethargic. Whoa, man, this shit is kicking in. And it's supremely awesome. Unlike the hipsters that are looting all the aisles that contain the ointments and creams at all those chain outlets. Man, gotta be cool, people. Take one aisle at a time. Grab some itch ointment. I get it. You gotta scratch that itch, but take care of each other, baby. Yeah, because it's not the itch, but the scratch that'll get you. Oh, those females and our felines. Oh, they know, baby. They know what I'm talking about. Wait a minute, baby. This just over the SPTD. Martial law declared across the country. No, wait another minute. That's Martian law declared. Martians have come down to Earth and are attempting to colonize us. No, wait a minute. The Martians have declared martial law over the marginalized. Wait a minute, that's killing my buzz, baby. It's a friggin' tongue twister. Man, is my mouth dry. Oh yeah, baby. Oh, baby. Forget the itching and swelling. These Martians have the longest, most beautifully trimmed nails you ever saw. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, that's the spot. That's the spot. Oh, so good. So good. Oh, a little to the left. Right there, baby. Oh, right there, you Martian space babe. Oh.
Professor, are you there? Professor! Ladies and gentlemen, it appears as if Martians are attempting to lull us into a state of lethargy with their sexy and wonderfully manicured Martian mitts. Stay tuned. We now return to the poetry of Mr. Jim Doyle.
Well, now I'm getting kind of timid. Now I'm frightened. But I'm going to try to continue, if I can, with this Pablo Neruda Ode to the Tomato. I know that I was at Parsley when we stopped before, so that's where I'll pick up. Now remember where we were. The tomato, it's great, and here we go. Parsley flaunts its little flags. Potatoes thump to a boil. The roasts beat down the door with their aromas. It's time, let's go. And upon the table, belted by summer tomatoes, stars of the earth, stars multiplied and fertile, show off their convolutions, canals and plentitudes, and the abundance of boneless, without husk or scale or thorn. Grant us the festival of ardent color and all-embracing freshness. Thank you. Well, I may as well go back. Apparently the crisis is abating a wee bit, so maybe I'll go back and try to get to the heights of Machu Picchu. Now, I've already read the first couple...
Jim, Machu Picchu will have to wait.
This is important.
Our civilization comes first.
This is important.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt Jim Doyle to once again hear the unbiased and award-winning blogging of Cecil B. Barnabas, Part-Time Magazine's Man of the Year. Cecil, what's happening?
Bobco, either my hyper metadata multi-platformer is malfunctioning, or I'm about to get laid. The air in my mom's kitchen, I mean the command studio, is thick with the gelatinous overtones of mom's meatloaf, melting in the mouth of an incredibly, and I mean, thank you, Lord, incredibly attractive Martian space babe. This is like receiving a Radio Shack gift certificate wrapped in a DSL cable. Back to you, Bobco. Ooh, wow. By the binary synapses of C3PO, I attest that some magnificent Martian babe is massaging me in my deltoides and trapezius muscle groups. Easy for me to say. Her technique can only be described as highly qualified and skilled in the tantric techniques of pressure application. My own mother doesn't give a back rub this good. Signing off for now. Oh!
Hey, wait a minute.
Breath mint?
Wait a minute.
Cigarette.
I'm itching too. I say, I'm itching too. Ooh. Ah. Now if this is how the world ends, I say, come here, you very sexy Martian babes. I am ready to be colonized. Please, somebody hand me the Martian space dust. But the show must go on. We go back to the University of Chicago, where Professor Argon Thallium has new and relevant updates concerning the Martians' plan to scatter Martian space dust into the world, causing all humanity to itch, only to now realize that they came to scratch that itch and hold us all in a state of world submission. Professor, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Bobco. This is just one super sexy horror show. A mutant, and who am I to judge? But a mutant race of bodacious Martian space babes have spread their magic space